Today, the last chapter, chapter 53 in the first book, Sefer Shel Beinanim. We're coming to a conclusion. The conclusion is about the presence of God in this world. Where is the presence? Till this chapter, we spoke about the presence of God. It's called the Shechina, the divine presence, Malchus of Atzilus, for the geographic location. Malchus of Atzilus, the Shechina, the divine presence of God, is too powerful for this world. Well, if it's too powerful, then what happens to it in order that it should be maintained and contained in this world? Well, it needs to reside in the Holy of Holies, as we spoke till now, that the Holy of Holies is a divine intelligence, the Chabad, of each spiritual world, the world of Bria, Yetzirah, and Asiya. So it comes down from a higher world, Malchus, of the previous world, comes into, from Malchus of Atzilus, the world of emanation, and it now vests itself into the world of Bria, into the Holy of Holies there, the divine in that world. The divine in the world of Bria, and we explained at great length in previous classes. From there, the divine then finds manifestation and expression in Malchus of that world, and therefore Malchus of Bria, for example, is the word of God that creates everything in the world of Bria, and then from there it goes down to the world, vests itself into the world of Yetzirah, and so on. So that's good for the spiritual worlds, but ultimately where is God to be found is in our world, in this physical world. So we're going to explain this first in the time period of the Holy Temple, the first Holy Temple. That will be today's class. Then we'll explain the second Holy Temple, and then we'll explain it today without a temple. All right. So, in the first Holy Temple, where was the divine presence? Where was the Shechina? It was in the Holy of Holies of this physical world, just as it was in the spiritual worlds. So it's in this physical world, the Holy of Holies. And what is the Holy of Holies of this world? It is the physical place and the what we have left now of the Western Wall. The Holy of Holies was the place where the Ark of the Covenant was and housed the Ten Commandments, the tablets of the Ten Commandments. And that was the place where the divine presence resided, was manifest. What does that mean that it was, first of all, why specifically in the Ten Commandments? Because the Ten Commandments encapsulates all 613 commandments, and for that matter, everything of the Torah. So in it is everything in the Ten Commandments. And even though it's physical, but yet it had something unique about it that was not like the rest of the physical world. The rest of the physical world is an evolutionary process from the spiritual level upon level, coming down, a devolving into the physical. So you would have from the world of Bria to Yetzirah to Asiya, Asiya in all of the various levels in Asiya, until you would come, and then the word of God of Malchus of Atzilus, of Bria, Asiya would then, with a contracted light, create of creation for the physical things of this world. And because of that, so to speak, devolvement, evolutionary process, we do believe in evolution from the spiritual to the physical, not within the physical, but from the spiritual to the physical. Everything then is defined by the creative process, which is a orderly process of ultimately nature as God creates it by the word of God. And therefore everything has that, so to speak, that procedural process, evolvement, again from the various worlds, coming down into ultimately this world. But that's not the case of the Ten Commandments. The Ten Commandments were the Word of God, the action of God, the Maise Elohim, the act of God, and the writing of God. Now, what does that mean? I mean, everything is from God. But what it means is that it didn't go through this Seder Hishtalshel, this orderly chain reaction of creating the physical world. It is an expression of Malchus of the world of Bria, Bria, the highest of the created spiritual worlds. Then comes Yitzira and Asiya. And it didn't devolve from there any further. It expressed itself in a physical thing. Okay, that physical thing defied the laws of nature, meaning the Ten Commandments, as it was engraved, carved out in stone. For example, if you read it this way, you read Anei Hashem Elokecha, right, the front side. If you turn it around, that should be the back side. I'm sorry, I don't have a, should have carved something out, right? It would be the back side. It should be backwards. Because if you carved it on one side, the other side is going to be the backwards. But it wasn't. It wasn't backwards. There was no back side. It was all front side, both sides. Furthermore, the Samach and the Mem were round, stood magnificently, not by the law, to come down. Why? Because the law of gravity is only something that is the word of God within this physical world that comes from an expression of Malchus of the world of Asiya. The word of God it's in the lower world of Asiya. But beyond that world, in the world of Bria, it's not defined by the law of gravity, still a spiritual world. So even though this was a physical object, it defied, it defied the law of nature because of an expression of a higher element of the divine that was beyond nature. And therefore, it was indeed the work of God and the writing of God. Everything ultimately is, but the other things hide it. This wasn't hidden. What are we speaking about here? Manifestation of God, revelation, undiluted, undiffused revelation of God. Where is it? In the Holy of Holies, in the first holy temple. This is what happened. What we need next to understand is the second temple, because the Ten Commandments weren't there. Where was the manifestation of God? And more importantly, how about today? We don't have the Holy Temple. Yes, Mashiach is coming and we're going to have it back. Absolutely. Hayoim, today, Mashiach must come. But in the moment, God's not here, Mashiach has not redeemed us. So we need to have the presence of God. Where is that? We have 2 more classes. So stay tuned. Tomorrow's class and tomorrow and Tuesday we will conclude the first book. We will have a seal, completion. We'll celebrate. And then, of course, the next day we'll just continue in the second book. Any questions, any comments? Who did I not get a chance to say hello to? Stephanie from Bloomington, Illinois, good morning. And Joseph from Fort Worth, Texas, good morning. Yan from Mexico, Shavua Tov. Karen from Miami, hello. Everson, Shavua Tov. Rio de Janeiro in Brazil. Bella, Una, Shain from New York, Shavua Tov. Jane, good Vach to you in Chicago. Pam, shalom. Let's see, I had 2 temples in Hollywood, Florida, and we're not talking about those temples. Talking about the ones in the Holy Land in Jerusalem. Who else is with us? Laura, Boker Tov to you in Nashville, Tennessee. Inside, yes. Alan from LA. And Dina, thank you. Thank you for helping with my allergies. That's very nice. Malika from London, thank you for joining. And all right, folks, sharing is caring. Please share the Alter Rebbe's teachings with others. I would like to make mention that I'm looking to post the classes that we have and to give a synopsis, like a paragraph or 2 every day. If there's anybody that's a good writer and would like to volunteer and help out on the daily class to write up a paragraph of what the class is about, paragraph or 2, and that way we could post it and it'll bring more people to the class. Please private message me and let me know if you are able and willing to help out in that way. As someone who's good with the pen. All right, folks. Shavua Tov, a good Vach, and a good Chodesh. Thank you very much for joining. A wonderful day.